turn now to the hot mess that is Harvard President Claudine Gay. Boy, this story is just, it's really unbelievable. Gay recently made headlines for refusing to say if genocide of Jews was against Harvard policy during a congressional hearing. She was also accused of plagiarism earlier this week. Now, the person she allegedly plagiarized was scholar and political scientist Dr. Carol Swain, who, as you can imagine, is none too happy, not only with Gay, but with Harvard. Carol is also the author, by the way, of the new book called The Adversity of Diversity. I love that title. She joins us now. Dr. Swain, thanks so much for being here on American Sunrise. So, look, Harvard's governing body said in a statement this week on the plagiarism stuff that an internal review found that Gay is responsible, quote, for a few instances of inadequate citation. Really?
From all indications, she is a serial plagiarist, and she should be held accountable. She should not be the president of any college or university. That's my position. And I believe her continued leadership of Harvard University is a blow to American higher education more generally, and that it will also impact K through 12 education. If the president of Harvard University can get away with plagiarism, I think it will encourage a lot of people who otherwise wouldn't do so to engage in the same type of behavior. And I have many problems with Claudine Gay. One is there are many people involved whose work that she lifted, so I was just one of many. But her whole research career is based on an area where I play up the fields, and she does not give me in her published work the credit that I think I deserved as being the seminal scholar in that area. So that's one issue. And then when I look at her publications, I don't believe she warranted, even if she had not plagiarized, tenure in the Ivy League based on the publications, maybe at a state school, but not the Ivy League. Mm-hmm. So we have a person who went to the most exclusive boarding school in America, went to Harvard as an undergraduate, won a prize for her senior thesis and a prize for her dissertation. We know that the dissertation had evidence of plagiarism, as I believe 5 publications of hers. And so it's very problematic that she is the best of the best that these elite institutions produced. And there's a record of these institutions choosing and advancing blacks with the right pedigree and ignoring people that come from more disadvantaged backgrounds who are actually making a major difference in their fields. Look at Roland Fryer, the black economist at Harvard, considered brilliant. I mean, she stripped him of his lab, and she's done everything to make his life a living hell because his research didn't fit the woke agenda.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Swain, plagiarism is something that can't be supported in any environment, but I'm curious, what specifically did she plagiarize from you? That's the allegation you're making. What ideas of yours did she specifically take and present as her own?
Well, there were 2 instances involving my prize-winning book, Black Faces, Black Interests, the representation of African Americans in Congress. That book won the highest prize in the profession. It is considered path-breaking. And the passages that were taken from my work, it's not the passages as much as it is, she had a whole research agenda of publications in that area. Normally, if you're building on a field where someone else did the seminal work, you will engage their work in your articles. She has 1 citation in the articles that I read, but she's not really letting anyone know that she's building on research that someone else opened up that area. So normally you would cite the leading scholar and you would affirm or you would challenge or expand their research, but she ignores me. She will list me with a string of citations. I wrote the seminal work in that area. So my position is that I've been cheated out of citations over the years because this woman was doing research in an area where I was the lead authority, and she was not acknowledging that she was following in my footsteps.
Dr. Swain, just for our audience's sake, when you know, I've done 2 master's theses and a doctoral dissertation as well. So the argument holds no water that, oh, she just forgot a citation. So people are thinking, oh, well, at the end of the sentence, she forgot to put in quotes Dr. Swain's information. That is not possible, and here's why. For those who don't understand how the process works, very quickly, I just want to explain. You have an entire committee that checks for things like your citations, right? And in this day and age, it's all electronic, and it can't miss your citations. You have to pretty intentionally leave off a citation of someone these days to get away with it. But to do it more than once, this would be statistically, astronomically impossible to accidentally leave off Dr. Swain's citation. And by seminal argument, she's talking about contributing something to the field that has never been contributed before. And what Gay did was actually take some of Dr. Swain's work and take credit for it, which means that all of the future work, all of the future dissertations and contributions to the field that include Gay's work won't include Dr. Swain's work.
Right.
This is absolute intellectual theft. She should be in big trouble for it. She should certainly not be sitting at Harvard. Dr. Swain, do you have anything to add to that?
I would agree. What she has done is cheated me out of citations. In academia, your stature in the field depends on how many times people cite your work. But I don't just blame her. I blame her committee members, reviewers of her articles, people in the political science profession that decided to start canceling me before we even knew of the cancel culture because I was becoming increasingly conservative. I was becoming a Christian. I became a Republican. And so what they did, they allowed people not to cite my work. And so I've been harmed, not just by Claudine Gay, but by an entire enterprise that elevates some people with the right ideas. She's considered a distinguished professor. I was never, I never achieved the rank of distinguished professor, even though I won the highest prize in the profession, the political science equivalent to the Nobel Prize.